These students, one of them is my niece. I hate to tell you how many family members I have in Ventura County. So naturally, I had to move to New York as quickly as possible. So, thank you, Phil, very much for that very generous introduction, and thank you all for being here. It's great. It really is especially great to be reading here in Ventura. We didn't do cow tipping in Fillmore, but we did. We had orange fights. We on Halloween we would not. Of course, my mother didn't know this. We would get in opposing pickup trucks with water balloons, rotten oranges if possible, and meat in the midway, and just, batter each other. So, okay. This is my book, Devil Deer, and let's see, the first poem. I lived in Mexico for a number of years. First in Mazatlan and then in San Miguel de Allende, as you heard. And I had a house in Mazatlan that was backed right up into the hill, and there were a lot of lizards. And I had a cat that would catch these lizards and eat them alive almost daily. And I felt very bad for the lizards after a while, especially after so many of them, And so thinking of the Buddhist concept of the God in all things, I wrote this poem, and it's called To the Lizard God. God of damnation, lizard God, eaten alive each day by the cat, and your guts ground into the carpet, or flung, O God of abandonment, into a corner. God of stench, God of retribution, warm and soft in my paper napkin, tossed in the wastebasket, carried out with crumbs and paint flakes, fruit skins and onion husks, nail parings and hair fished from drains, with crushed bugs and blooded, swatted, stinging things. O God that gives and takes away, forget me in your pain. Turn your face from me in your suffering. Close your eyes upon me in the furnace of midday, as you begin to rot, or in the tepid rain. When ants deliver your flesh to their queen, when your acids leak into dirt, when your frail bones fall into calcium and enter the clear blood of plants, when you are sipped at last to the top of the tree, think of me, O infant. When the brown moth alights on you and you give thanks, O God of the one everlasting touch, O breath, remember me. Okay, this one, next one. Let's see. It has kind of an odd title and it needs a little bit of explanation. One of the many places I've lived was Seattle, and the house next door to me was being painted in the spring, and the house apparently hadn't quite dried out. The wood was still very damp. So when it heated up in the summer, the acrylic paint started to bubble. And being a poet and having probably an excessive amount of imagination, those bubbles began to look like other things. And so the title of this is That Year the Whales. That year the whales rose out of the green paint. I forgot to hate the things I used to hate. I left the wallpaper hanging in strips and let the cats go in and out while books piled up in drifts. That year I let myself stay up late and drink, though the clock that rang at 6 was loudly cursed. That was the year the children's rooms began to reek of moldering oranges and chocolate. And I had yet to write 1,000 stupid lines about love, that impossible give and take, though I and a friend took time enough to understand the words we couldn't say. All that spring, the shadows made a changing shape on the neighbors' clapboard walls, like rows of ocean waves, where blisters from the summer sun began to swell with a cetacean grace and let their bellies roll. I watched out my window while the slow months wait. That year the rails rose out of the green paint, pressed like coal in my throat, until the whole year lit up and dove and shrank itself to a minute. Okay, so this is probably the oldest of the poems I've written in this book. It was from quite a while ago, and it's, well, I'll tell you the truth. I was involved in a fling with a much younger woman, and it didn't work out very well. And so this is a kind of rueful poem about the failure in the sense of foolishness. It's called After the Crash, the Old Fool Does Laundry. We've only to live it through, gracefully, I trust, accepting these wintry mishaps for what they are. The blouse blown against the fence is not a curse on us, although it irritates us just as though it were. And if you find me odd and old, and even, therefore, faintly disgusting, I find you callow, difficult to bear. We are less indestructible than we at first appeared. I belong to my desk and my disheveled floors, to this droll celibacy, to the task of living alone here, though not utterly chosen, nor altogether enforced, more than I belong to you, who have come to my voice as lover and nightmare, and who will be taken away, not, thank God, by car crash, but daily as I make my bed, sheets rinsed of event and of memory. Yes. And this one is called The Way Corn Grows. In the courtyard, a leafless oak strung with colored lights. Such a wee protest, a cry against the dark that engulfs us as the whole earth tilts. I have a pile of soft hats, gloves, scarves, and a rack of coats arranged in order of warmth. I have my hours marshaled and portioned into tasks, cupboards where the moths thrive and where the mice shop among jars of cinnamon and rice. I have my trusted companionable ghosts with books under their arms and with lamps to follow. When the way is precarious, when neither self-praise nor self-loathing tell me the truth, I have only the world itself to lie down in. The way corn grows, like giving birth. The way vast migrations of geese sweep clean the eye that sees them. This next poem was actually an assignment from a woman who was a mentor, and I was in a class, and she said, write a poem. The title has to be Giving Up Writing, and the first word has to be goodbye. And so I didn't think Giving Up Writing was a very good title, so now the title is Goodbye. Goodbye, dear monster. I wish you well. I hope you won't be judged by your scars. With your eyes of all sizes and colors, you could be a lighthouse or a prophet. And though you have too many thumbs and arms that are short for your great bulk, you can love. Am I not your mother? And haven't I scoured the planet all my life for such a heart? I'll never forget how I found it in the rail yard, chuffing in its impatience to labor. It was easy to find the redwoods, difficult to drag them home and join them to your torso. Over the years, how many children have I set lumbering toward the village? And of those who returned, how many odd parts are left, nodding, tapping toward some impossible future? You are the last and the best. You may be wondering why I gave you breasts. They are my own. Trust me. While I was living in Mazatlan, I had a little brush with cancer, which is long past, thank God. But during that time, or somewhat afterward, I wrote this poem, and it's called There's an Engine. There's an engine in the distance, an engine I can't quite identify, whether hovering or warming, climbing or descending, grinding or cooling or pushing water. There's an engine rolling the beds, an engine under the city, in the drains, in the waves. There's an engine in the body making cells, whether for good or for evil, whether for healing or for killing, there's an engine. There's an engine in the dog, urgent in the rooster and in the tuning. Fans hum, insects feed and lay their eggs on pails and mop strings. Who can wait for rain? Sometimes I love, and sometimes I can't love what carries me. Like a child, I praise what gives and revile what takes away. I pray to the engine for mercy on me, on those I need, mercy for strangers, for nations, mercy for the spankers, and mercy for the killers of souls. I pray to the watchmaker to set me slow, to slow down the tumblers tumbling in the locks, the waters falling past pillows. I pray for the body to last a little longer. Your body, my body, our body. You're very serious out there. Okay, this one, the title is just the first few words of the poem, Did You Ever? And I think there are probably a few writers in this room, and people who love books. This poem is for you. And it's one of these poems that works the way the mind sometimes works, where you start out talking about one thing and then it reminds you of something else, and so you go way off until you forgot what you were talking about in the first place. And then if you're lucky, you come back to it. This is one of those. So, did you ever walk past the house of someone you wanted to know? Admire the yard? Glimpse figures waltzing inside the windows? If you've been a long time at sea, or lost anywhere at all, you understand the hope I feel when I open a book I've begun. I'm looking for a port, a friendship, a meal, an erotic coupling. And it can't be rushed, like space travel, light years, until the poems are part of my breathing. Like galaxies, they contract and expand. One, hidden behind the bright face of the one before it, goes unnoticed, and then Shy Mouse catches my attention. Now and again, I see mistakes the poet made. Not mistakes, but blurts, egoistic slips or failures of nerve. Little cracks in the verse through which I enter, through which the poem gives birth. There was a poet, now dead, who in life I loved from afar. Not love, it was infatuation. What else could it have been from such a distance? Though we did take a few meals together and kissed once or twice. I dreamed he humbly came to me. We'd begun together at last. But I awoke before the love scene, awoke in my mosquito net, bestirred by the overhead fan, pulled myself up to feed the cats, and so the day began. But we met. Beloved man, we met again. I didn't know what I wanted. It's so much easier, isn't it, to please someone else than to say, wait, not yet, I'm not certain. He was such a rake. What would I have meant to him? I wanted to believe I would be the one he grew to comprehend once he had failed with all the others, as I had failed with others, though not that many times. I bring my conflicting emotions to the books I read, and sometimes the words take fire. As yesterday, I was seethingly envious as a poem I wished to have written turned and finally brought me shriven into its arms. I heard someone say earlier that they wrote in an old-fashioned way, and I often feel that way. So I thought, dang it, I'm going to write an experimental poem. And it's kind of fun. So this is let's see, there's just one more after this. To break it, to find it again. Not always, but always. Including death-arousing noise, jerk and robot, both the no and the yes. Oddly new, newly old, to find the flirt in us. If poodle can prance, can prong, if squirrel, if ocean's brilliant foam is thin enough to breathe, wise animal music pumped out in pups, kits, chicks, drips. If turtle hatchlings blunder, magnets for the salt sea. If we are lost, far from the breast, too far up, away far down, and then trees, giants, and also the tiny wild blooms. She opens her eyes. In her water we see us, vulvid creatures by the ocean that are the ocean. They taste of her, tits and pips, mountainous crusts and secretions, birthing eyes of the divine. If we wash away, if we melt, if we are clumsy and hilarious, splayed feet we quack. If we are a parade of elephants linked trunk to tail, if we are continents balanced on a ball, if we are clapping, sucking in our next first breath. And this last poem is a love poem, and it's called Animal Warmth. Is it my imagination? Or do the deer's coats darken in winter? Sweetheart, what I said on the phone about sharing a bed together, that fear of insomnia that haunts me like a gravy stain, I was wrong to mention it. Forgive me. Truly, I've learned that sleeping with you is what I wanted all along. My years of restless nights were caused by the dearth of you beside me, as if I knew you were there, behind a screen, and couldn't reach you. What matters most, as we step delicately into our thicket, our dark coats exactly the shade of dampened bark, is the certainty that we are truer together than we are alone. So if I wake you as I thrash to widen my small dent in the snow, or if you wake me throwing your arm over my chest, I trust I can fall asleep again, can rest because of your breathing, your particular snore note, and that the beasts I fear, the wolf, the hunter, though they will find us one night, and first one of us, then the other will be taken. I don't have to think about it now, not tonight, not this year, as we climb into our covers and fall deep into the snowy woods, into animal warmth, sleepers and lovers. That's it. Thank you so much.
Because maybe the La Llorona is over here. And this is a song from Oaxaca and it's very popular. Maybe you can know more about this song in the voice of Chabela Vargas. Salías del templo un día, llorona cuando al pasar yo te vi. Salías del templo un día, llorona cuando al pasar yo te vi. Hermoso huipil llevabas, llorona, que la Virgen te creí. Hermoso huipil llevabas, llorona, que la Virgen te creí. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 llévame al río en el negro, llorona, negro, pero cariñoso. Yo soy como el chile verde, llorona, picante pero sabroso. Yo soy como el chile verde, llorona, picante pero sabroso. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 de ayer y hoy. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 de ayer y hoy. Ayer maravilla fui, llorona, y ahora ni sombra soy. Ayer maravilla fui, llorona, y ahora ni sombra soy. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 de azul celeste. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, y llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Si porque te quiero quieres, llorona, quieres que te quiera más. Si porque te quiero quieres, llorona, quieres que te quiera más. Si ya te he dado la vida, llorona, ¿qué más quieres? ¿Quieres más? Si ya te he dado